Okay, guys, so let's do a small video on futures just to, refresh what we had. Okay, so we have the buyer of the future and the seller. And I said to you that for treasury futures, right, the seller commits to give the buyer 6% coupon bond with $100,000 face, and the buyer, right, needs to pay the seller the contract price. So the buyer needs to pay the seller the contract price. Okay? Now, the question is, the 6% bond doesn't exist, right? So we want to stress on this a little bit. Okay, the 6% bond doesn't exist. So what you want to do, you want to actually, instead of that, you want to deliver some other bonds, right? So here are your bond 1, here's your bond 2, and here's your bond 3 that you want to deliver. Now, because these bonds are not these bonds, what you want to do, you want to actually tell yourself that you should deliver different amount of face value to compensate for the coupon. Okay? So we said that the amount of face value that you want to deliver is dictated by the conversion ratio. And for each bond, you have a different conversion ratio because each bond has a different characteristics, right? So this bond can mature, let's say, between 6.5 years, this bond in 10 years, etc., etc., etc. So I don't want to return, to kind of discuss this in this video. I trust that you guys remember that, okay? So now let's say that this conversion ratio of this bond is going to be 0.8, and the conversion ratio of this bond is going to be, let's say, 0.9. So how much face value you want to deliver here? The face value that you delivered here will be $100,000 divided by the conversion ratio of this bond, 0.8, so this is going to be $125,000. On the other hand, here you will deliver $100,000 divided by 0.9. Okay? So this is going to be 100,000 times 10 divided by 9. So overall, in here, you will deliver $111,000 of face, more or less, right? You have stuff here, but let's just round it to $11,000. Okay. Now, this is the first part of the story. Second part of the story: how much you will pay for this delivery from the seller's perspective. Okay? So for this bond, let's say the price that it's traded, right? The price that you trade this bond for, let's say that this is going to be $110 for 100 face value. Okay, so how much you will pay for this bond? You are going to have 125,000 times 110 divided by 100. So this is going to be $137 and $500. Okay. What about this guy? Okay. So now let's say invent a price for this guy. Let's say that this guy is now, let's say, 115 per 100, right? So this is going to be for this guy you're going to get 111,000 times 115 divided by 100. Now, if I'm going to use my calculator on a different machine, it is going to be 111 times 115 divided by 100 times 1,000. This is going to be 127,650. Okay, so you are comparing now this guy $137,500 with this guy, 127 to 650, right? So the seller is going to use from those two bonds, the seller is going to use this bond because this bond is cheaper. Okay? The seller is going to pay this amount of money to buy this bond in the market and then deliver it to the buyer. Now, what about the buyer? How much the buyer is going to pay? Well, the buyer pays whatever the contract specifies. Okay? So I did not specify here the price of the contract. Let's say the price is 130. In this case, the buyer pays $100,000 times 130 divided by 100. So he's going to pay $130,000, and from this perspective, he's actually going to lose money because, you know, the bond on the market is cheaper. So he's going to pay $130,000. The seller pays $127,650 to deliver, right? And this minus this, the seller makes money. Now, if the buyer, let's say, would pay $125 per 100, okay, then the story is 125,000 compared with 127,500. 650, sorry. Okay, so then the buyer actually makes money because he can go to the market and he can sell this bond for 127,650. He just paid 125,000, so he is actually going to make $650. Okay. Now this is a very important to understand. This is only a delivery. Okay. I'm not going. We're not. We're not discussing what happens in the middle. We know that in the middle you can actually get in and out of the contract. And that's how you would trade these bonds. This is just at maturity. This is just at delivery. Okay. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope that it helps, and I'm going to post this video once again on YouTube, and hopefully you will enjoy it. Have a great day, guys, and I love my magic pen.